Alright, so this is going to be my first video ever to try this vlogging thing. It's some inspirational videos I got. I'm not the best at this, but I'm going to attempt it. But I want to just throw out there and sow some seeds that I feel like God has given me, some thoughts, some inspirations that I feel like it's worth sharing with somebody. If God gives you something, it's worth sharing. And I'm doing this, like I said, just for me and for those few who may find it inspirational. But the first thought that I had that came to me here a while back, and I already shared it before with some people, but it's found in Matthew 14 and 25. And it says this, and then it went in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus went unto them walking onto the sea. And when the disciples saw him walking on the sea, they were troubled, saying, It is a spirit. And they cried out for fear. But straightway Jesus spake unto them, saying, Be of good cheer. It is I, be not afraid. And Peter answered him and said, Lord, if it be you, bid me come unto you on the water. And Jesus said, Come. And when Peter was come down out of the ship, he walked on the water to go to Jesus. Now, the thought that I got before when I was reading this was, it came to me here at a time where I was having some, just some trouble and thinking about my faith and stuff. Not in faith as far as, believing in. And it's almost like, God speaks to us all in different ways. And he speaks to me probably in a way that he don't speak to you, but he hits me where I guess I can understand and hear it. But I saw the scripture on a piece of paper, on an old pamphlet actually, and I was reading it. And when I read it, it was almost like I hear the voice of God say, Did you see that? Did you read that, Brandon? And I was like, yeah. He said, see? He said, ain't that funny how I never told Peter to walk on the water? And I was like, yeah, that is interesting. And then the more I thought about it, and the more it became to me was that the power of this verse and the story is that, it wasn't Jesus out in the water and said, Come on, Peter, walk to me on the water. But this story is about the level of faith that we have as individuals. When we get to a certain place, when we need to find Jesus, we need to go to him. God's like, I'm here for you in the midst of your storm. But how are you going to get here to me? And the story's not even so much about the storm per se. It's just about our level of faith in our times of trouble. Because once they realized, hey, that Jesus is here, and I got to get to him. And they cried and they said, and Peter said, Lord, if that's you, and then bid me to come to you on the water. It was Peter who determined through his faith how he was going to get to Christ, to Jesus. It wasn't Jesus that said, okay, well, come to me, Peter, and walk on the water. No, he said, come. However you're going to get here, just get here. And so Peter chose, well, I'm going to walk on the water to you. That's how I'm going to get to you. So it was Peter's faith that determined the means of how he would get there to Jesus. And then in return, Jesus met his faith and gave him the means in order to walk upon the water. So, and that to myself was like, man, that there was pretty powerful, because it's, we determine our level of transportation, our means to get to Jesus. I mean, I guess if Peter probably would have said, Lord, if that's you, then bid me to come flying to you, Jesus could have said, all right, start flying. Flap your arms, let's get here. It's not about, Jesus has the power to give us the means to get to him. It's just, do we have the faith to get out of the boat and come to him? So the thing I'm asking y'all is, forget the storm. And the storms are going to come. The storms are there, and we're in the storms half the time. I mean, the world we're living in right now, I mean, it's pretty crazy. But if we just forget the storm a minute and just say, you know what, I don't care about the storm, but I just got to get to Jesus, and this is how I'm going to get to him. And then I think if we would just show the faith and put forth the action, the means will be given to us. So, I mean, Peter could have said, hey, I'm going to walk on the water, I'm going to swim in the water, I'm going to walk on the bottom of the ocean to you. It doesn't matter how you're going to get there, as long as you're going to get there. Jesus just says for us, just come. Just get here. And I'll give you the means according to your faith. So I don't know, I just hope that somebody would think about that, and just your faith is going to determine the vehicle or the means or the way that you travel through the storm to Jesus. It's how much faith do you have? Because when Peter started sinking, it was because he lost sight, and his faith was then overtaken by the storm, and he lost the faith. But when Jesus grabbed him, and Jesus pulled him out of the water, he didn't say, here, Peter, and I'm going to save you, but he grabbed him. But what Jesus did is he grabbed Peter's faith and pulled his faith up out of the water. And when he got a hold of Peter's faith, Peter was then able to begin to walk on the water. The water then became solidified underneath his feet because his faith was restored. So it wasn't Jesus saving Peter per se, but it was saving his faith, pulling his faith up out of the water. He said, let's get your faith back up here on me, Peter, so we can get you back to the boat. So I don't know. Maybe I should pray, Lord, don't save me from the storm, Lord. Just save my faith, increase my faith, that I can learn to tread on the water and not worry about sinking in it. So, anyway, I just wanted to plant that seed. Maybe I can sow it in someone's heart. Maybe someone can sit there and think about it, and maybe it'll turn into something fruitful at some point in your life.